DWP PIP 749 pounds, URGENTWARNING, hidden rules, risk of losing payments, and shocking truths revealed. Personal independence payment, often referred to simply as PIP, has become one of the most important benefits available to people across the United Kingdom who live with long-term illnesses, disabilities, or health conditions that affect their daily lives. For many households, this payment is not just a helpful addition, it is an absolute lifeline that helps cover the additional costs of mobility support, specialist care, and day-to-day living needs. Because of the essential nature of PIP, the Department for Work and Pensions is extremely strict about ensuring that the right people receive the right amount of money at the right time. This means that claimants have a responsibility to keep the DWP informed whenever their circumstances change. If these rules are not followed, the risks can be severe, including suspension of payments, reduction of entitlement, or in some cases, complete withdrawal of benefits. It is important to recognize that not every change in life will affect PIP entitlement. For instance, if someone changes their doctor, moves to a new healthcare professional, updates their name, or relocates to a different address, their award itself will not be impacted. However, even though these specific changes do not alter the amount of money someone is entitled to, the DWP strongly advises that claimants keep their records up to date. If letters or important notices are sent to an old address, or if their system contains outdated personal details, it can create unnecessary confusion or delays in future correspondence. Keeping details correct at all times ensures a smooth relationship between the claimant and the department. One of the most significant circumstances that can directly affect entitlement is leaving the country. Many people wrongly assume that short trips abroad, such as a simple holiday, do not matter. However, if someone plans to be outside the UK for longer than 4 weeks, even if it is only for leisure, the DWP must be informed immediately. The official guidance is very clear on this matter. The department needs to know the exact date of departure, the country being visited, the reason for traveling, and the expected length of the stay. Without this information, claimants risk losing their payments. This is because PIP is designed for people residing in the UK. An absence from the country can sometimes affect whether the criteria are still met. A failure to report this detail could have serious financial consequences, which is why the DWP constantly warns claimants to be cautious and transparent about any travel plans. Hospital stays are another area where entitlement can be impacted. If a claimant is admitted to an NHS hospital, both the daily living and mobility components of PIP are only payable for the first 28 days. After that period, the payments are automatically stopped until the claimant is discharged and returns home. This rule ensures that public funds are not duplicated since the NHS already provides care during hospital stays. It is worth noting that this rule does not apply if the hospital stay is privately funded, in which case payments continue as normal. However, if a claim begins when the person is already in hospital, the payments will not begin until after discharge. These details are often overlooked by claimants, which is why it is vital to notify the DWP of hospital stays immediately to avoid confusion or unexpected suspension of payments. When it comes to care homes, the rules are slightly different, but just as important. If someone moves into a care home where accommodation is paid for by local authority or public funds, the daily living component of PIP will stop after 28 days. The mobility component, however, can continue to be paid, meaning claimants may still receive partial support. For those who fully self-fund their care home arrangements, these rules do not apply, and they can continue receiving both components without interruption. It is also worth highlighting that care home stays and hospital stays can be linked. If a person moves between hospital and care home with less than a 28-day gap, these periods are combined. This means that entitlement can quickly reduce if someone transitions back and forth between these facilities. Many people find this rule complex, but it is designed to prevent overlapping funding for long-term care. Another critical circumstance that can stop PIP is imprisonment or being held in legal custody. If a claimant is taken into custody, PIP is payable only for the first 28 days, after which payments stop completely. This applies whether the person is on remand awaiting trial, has been convicted, or is being held for a civil matter. The department does not backdate or refund any suspended payments, even if the person is later found not guilty or released. This makes it essential for claimants or their representatives to inform the DWP of the date custody began and, if possible, the likely duration. Failure to report this change will result in problems that can affect entitlement for months or even longer. There are also more straightforward administrative changes that may not directly affect entitlement, but are still required for accuracy. For example, if someone changes their name, the DWP requires written confirmation. This letter should include the previous name, the new name, any updates to the bank account receiving payments, and the claimant's signature. If the claimant simply phones to report this, the DWP will still ask for a written version to be provided. Similarly, if payments need to be redirected to a new bank or building society, the DWP requires the full account details, including sort code, account number, and account holder's name. Providing this information ensures there are no disruptions in payment delivery. If a claimant has an appointee, such as a trusted family member or a person with power of attorney, it is equally important to update the DWP if this representative changes. The department needs the new appointee's full contact information so that payments and correspondence are managed correctly. If an appointee's address changes, this must also be reported. These updates guarantee that PIP payments continue smoothly and reach the right person at the right time. A change of address for the claimant themselves should also be reported, even if it does not directly affect entitlement. While moving home does not usually change PIP eligibility, unless the new address is a hospital or care home, it is still important that the DWP knows where to send letters, reassessment forms, or notifications. Missing correspondence can easily put someone's claim at risk, especially if they fail to respond to a request for further information. Changes to doctors or healthcare professionals are less urgent once a PIP claim has been awarded, but during the assessment stage, they can be significant. If a new doctor or specialist is providing care, the DWP must have the updated details so that assessment providers can contact the right professional for supporting evidence. Providing the correct contact information ensures that medical evidence is collected promptly and fairly, which can have a direct effect on the outcome of a claim. For all of these changes, the DWP has made it straightforward for claimants to make contact. The PIP inquiry line is available from Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on 0800-1214433. Speaking directly with the department is often the fastest way to update records. In some cases, written confirmation may still be required, but the inquiry line remains the first point of contact for most claimants. The overall message is simple but extremely important. Personal independence payment is designed to support people who need it most, but entitlement can only continue if the DWP is kept fully informed about changes in personal or living circumstances. Failing to provide this information risks losing a benefit that many people rely on to maintain their independence and quality of life. Whether it is an extended trip abroad, a hospital stay, moving into a care home, or something as simple as changing a bank account, reporting changes promptly is the only way to safeguard payments. For those who depend on PIP, being proactive and responsible in communicating with the DWP is the best protection against losing the financial support that makes such a difference to daily living.